California. Cynthia?
I'm in Argentina, Buenos Aires, near the capital.
Beautiful. We just love to see everyone out there and where you are coming from. And we would also really love to know what you do. Who do you serve? We would love to see that in the notes because we can help to comment back on things that we might be able to let you know about that are great. So let's go ahead and just get started, I think.
Awesome. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the state of marketing for 2026. We're really excited about this because I know for a lot of you, it's just overwhelming trying to stay up to date with everything that's working, what's not working in your small business. And so today we're going to be bringing real numbers, real life examples of what we see is working, and specifically with search versus social, just understanding the differences and how this can help you grow your business and reach an audience that doesn't know you yet and is already looking for you online. We're going to be talking about Pinterest. Jen's going to be talking about Pinterest. I'm going to be talking about SEO. We're going to also go into some case studies, and we have a little surprise at the end that we're going to be sharing with you that will also help kind of continuing to grow your business online.
Yeah, and marketing is I feel like everyone out there will be like, yeah, I totally agree. Marketing is really shifting. It's changing kind of fundamentally, partially because of AI, which literally affects Pinterest and SEO, wanting to show up in those searches and things like that. So if you are not visible online, as we go through 2026 and into 2027, it could end up being a problem because you will be invisible if you're not visible.
Yeah. Yeah, you starting earlier with this stuff makes a big difference.
Yeah. And before diving in, let's really kind of zoom out a little bit and see specifically where marketing is heading as we go into this second half or on the way of going into the second half of 2026.
Yeah. So here are some numbers that I think are really interesting for this year. So 68% of small businesses are increasing their marketing budgets this year, but fewer than 1 in 5 actually feel confident about it working. It's working for them. And I, really relate to this when I was starting my business, just that feeling of like, is this even working? And we want to help you with that. So yeah, stay tuned. 73% of small businesses aren't sure their current marketing is actually working. 64% of consumers say a strong online presence is important for attracting and retaining customers. And 68 of marketers, confirm that AI has helped them achieve higher content marketing return on investment. So AI is a big player right now for sure, just like Jen was saying. 50% of all sources ChatGPT sites are business and service sites. And there's a real opportunity here for small businesses that have quality content. And there's a 748% return on investment reported for thought leadership blogs targeting transactional keywords. So content with buying intent still wins. And so there's a lot going on in these different statistics, but really the idea is that we are in a really special time to use AI to build an online brand and have that visibility. But it's also very overwhelming because there's so many, it could feel like there's a lot of moving parts. And so having a cohesive strategy that works and that can help you focus is, I think, the differentiating factor, right? And this is probably why you're here as well in this masterclass, is you're trying to figure out what are the step-by-steps, that you want to be taking to get found better online and to attract a new audience.
And I know you're going to cover this a little bit when you talk about SEO, but I feel like having AI has almost put more pressure on business owners to get information out there. And some business owners try just using AI for all their SEO, and that becomes very generic. So
Yeah.
I know people have asked you, like, do we even need an SEO person now? And I mean, it's a great question, but there is no way that I would be getting the traffic that I'm getting without Cynthia's knowledge. So AI is only as good as what you put into it. And if you
Yes.
don't have that knowledge, that's going to be really hard. And I just wanted to point that out up front because that's something that I really pay attention to.
Yeah, a lot of people turn to AI to get answers, like I do it all the time. But if you don't have previous knowledge, it's gonna point you in random directions. Like you could ask it to audit your website and it would give you, it'll give you a good list. But my question is like, what order are you getting those things done? And are they actually going to move the needle on your traffic? Because I can promise you it probably isn't. Like something like image alt tags, which a lot of people, recommend, or AI might recommend, that depending on the type of images, worrying about that is not going to change your traffic. So that's just one little example, kind of to Jen's
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So, and same with Pinterest too. I can imagine like
Oh,
you can AI, your Pinterest, but then it could send you in so many different directions and you can waste so much time if you don't understand the basics of how Pinterest works and what your audience is searching. And anyway, that's what we want
AI
to
is
teach
AI is talking about idea pins and hashtags, and we haven't used those in months. So, just like I tell everyone, when you're looking, and I don't know about SEO, but for Pinterest, anything you are watching video wise or reading, if it's older than 6 months, take it with a grain of salt because it could
Yeah,
be not accurate anymore. Pinterest
yeah,
has changed that much.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to walk through each trend. So, for the first one, marketing is really shifting from interruption to discovery, right? I always liken it to Instagram and all the other social media is stumble upon content, right? Like as you're scrolling or you're watching memes or you're seeing what your friends are posting. But discovery is where people are searching for your solution. That's why this is so magical. Putting together Pinterest and SEO for your business is insane. People want to find ideas, not be sold to. The second, AI and automation are making growth accessible in ways impossible a few years ago, leveling the playing field to a certain extent, but now more generic information is going out because it's coming from AI and it's not as unique as something you would write or you would know. Third, search is evolving. Visual, semantic, and image based searches are now becoming the norm. And fourth, the lifespan of content is stretching. The post today, vanish tomorrow model, which is very social media, is dying a little bit. And five is commerce and community. That really is the sweet spot. People are wanting more to learn in a community than sort of on their own with a what am I thinking? A course as an example. If there's not a live element to it, it's great education. But if you are don't have that knowledge, that real deep knowledge, doing it in a group with experts seems to be the sweet spot that people are starting to really lean toward. Six is small and smart investments now outperform big, noisy campaigns. So, with all of that in motion, where does Pinterest fit in? And that's and SEO, and that's actually what we're going to be diving into next.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how to get found in SEO and GEO. And if you've never heard of SEO, or you've heard of it but you don't really know what it is, you're in the right place. We're going to break it down. And really, we want to just talk about how to make sure you're found when someone is searching for you online, whether they find you through the traditional um, channel, if you will, SEO, or if it's through an AI overviews or ChatGPT or whatever.
So what real quick, I don't know if you go into this later on, I totally forget, but GEO, a lot of people we hear AIO, we hear GEO, we hear a lot of acronyms. Talk to us specifically about what GEO is.
So, to simplify, they're all similar. They're very
Okay.
similar. GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization.
Okay.
And this
Optimization.
idea of generative engine is the large language model that, like ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever you have. And we're just thinking about how these AI assistants and AI agents are understanding the website and understanding our online presence and how we're making easy for them to be able to pick up on our content and all that stuff. But
Excellent.
AI optimization.
I just didn't want people's eyes to glaze over like, "Whoa,
Sure.
what's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
GEO?"
Yeah, yeah. And SEO stands for search engine optimization. And again, I mean, right now, what I'm saying is that a lot of the AI optimization is like advanced SEO. It's not crazily different. Yes, there's new elements like having an llm.txt file, which is a file you have on your site that tells the large language models, hey, this is what my business is about. Look over here. So there's things like that that are like new, but a lot of the concepts are similar. And fun fact, like Google and these newer companies like OpenAI, they really need each other, right? Because Google has years and years of search engine information backed up. And, OpenAI in some cases actually takes information, in many cases, takes information from Google because they're newer, right? So they're all like players in this current AI first, world. And I think that it's not about stopping SEO, it's just about layering on a new strategy. So let's talk about this, how the search landscape is transforming. So Google and AI tools are really focused on not just originality, but also authority, right? So, how are we showing up as an authority in our space? And that will distinguish us from the competitors and like our unique niche and that sort of thing. So, this idea of zero click searches is that right now, when you load the search results at the top, you see the AI overviews, right? And in many cases, that just gives you enough information to then beat it and go about your day, right? So that's why the new strategy is to have informational keywords that can be resolved, in one paragraph or a sentence or whatever, but also have transactional keywords where people are going to click through. So when I say transactional, what I mean is someone who's searching for your services or products and are like lower on the funnel in terms of getting ready to buy. So that's going to help with the zero click searches so that we're not just attracting people who are looking for information, but they're actually more interested in like, yeah, buying what you have to offer, right? So zero click searches, don't freak out about them. They're just the landscape we're in right now. And we have to keep adapting and, finding
And
what works.
sometimes your business is served up in that answer, that AI
Yes.
answers in a Google search.
Yes.
That is the sweet spot because they're getting the information and it's almost like a Google blessing. I've had that happen and it is very exciting for a business owner.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think for a lot of people, again, because they're not clicking through, you can't retain that visitor, but it is a great way to get visibility. Some of those people might get curious and like learn about you, but it depends on what they're searching, right? And
Yeah,
that's why the cool thing about search marketing is you can really hone in on the intent. Like, where are they? Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware?
yeah,
Are they aware that your business even exists, right? And
yeah.
so you need to be targeting all these stages, but it can be helpful to, get someone who's like lower down in like getting ready to buy, basically.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, so here are a few more statistics when it comes to AIO and SEO and understanding right now where we're at. So 61% drop in organic click-through rate when the AI overviews appear on the results page. So yeah, this we're seeing across the board with all our clients, like clicks are going down, but it doesn't necessarily mean that traffic is going down because a lot of us are, like we just talked about, showing up in AI. So we're showing up in the AI overviews and then people are clicking through that way, or people are finding us in ChatGPT or Gemini. So there's a new frontier of visibility when it comes to AI. And then the next statistics, 4.8% of the top ChatGPT cited URLs are in-depth pages answering what is it, who uses it, how to choose, and pricing all on one URL. So it is true that AI can, read multiple information in the page. And so there's different things we can do to have something like ChatGPT recommend us. And one of those things is having structure, right? And I'm going to get into some more tips later on in the masterclass. And then the last statistic here is more than 34 times search traffic comes from Google versus AI chatbots. So traditional SEO is still the dominating player here. And that's why I keep saying, like, SEO is still relevant. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to stop being relevant. I just think AI is like a whole other layer. And over time, it's going to change. And anyway, I have different predictions and things, but at this point, we want to
That's
be
a great way to look at it, actually. I was always thinking that AI takes away, but it feels, from what I'm learning and talking about this now, is that it's almost like an addition. Like, you have all your searches and you have the AI search. It's actually more opportunity to get found, really.
Exactly. It's a whole other channel, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just depends on the type of business you're in. So if you're a local brick and mortar shop, people are still going to find you in Google Maps. That's local SEO. And that, I
Yeah.
mean, people will find you in AI as well. But I just think that I think we just want to be careful not to fall in the trap of with AI to like jump on the trend of like everyone's just now searching in AI. And
No.
yes, definitely, like we're all using it. Like I'm part of that too, but there's still a place for people who are looking for certain services and they're validating it through Google, right? So will we get to a point where no one uses the search results? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, but I think that we're in we have to just take it one day at a time. And at this point, traditional SEO is still very important for a
Well,
business.
and I don't know about you, but there's a lot of times where I kind of skim it and I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. And then I
Right.
scroll and I find it. So
Right.
I feel like others must be doing that too.
Yeah. Again, it depends on what you're buying, right? And
Yeah.
what you're
True.
selling
True.
and all
True.
that
True.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, we are in a big shift and it can feel overwhelming as an online business. You want to get found by all the different aspects of your audience. And I think that it's a reasonable thing to like keep on top of.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've already kind of talked about this, but generative engine optimization. So this is more the AI optimization part versus SEO is the traditional search results, right? Getting found there. So again, we're thinking about the answers we're giving AI, the quality of the lead can be higher because maybe someone is like ready to buy. And we've had a few clients already get sales from AI. ChatGPT is building these agents who will already be able to buy for us. So this is like the next layer of the agentic web where we'll have agents going online, doing stuff for us, coming back. So this is what we're moving towards, right? And so there's a lot of debate about whether are we going to still enjoy, getting on a website and clicking around? I think it's going to be a mix. Like that's my prediction. I think
Yeah.
we're still going to want to kind of get to know a business online, but there will be a heavy, agent traffic, and so we want to think about how are we getting there. Anyway, so at the end of the day, the sooner we can get on this AI bandwagon in terms of search, the better off we are. And the more you can learn now, I think the more of an advantage you're going to have. I also want to comment, there's a lot I've heard, I don't know about you, Jen, but I've had a lot of people are kind of like burnt out by the word AI, which I think is interesting.
Yes.
So to be clear, think about AI as a marketing opportunity. Forget about AI. It's a marketing opportunity. People are searching,
Another
they're
channel. I like how you
finding
said
a
that.
channel.
It's another channel. I really like that. It
That's
feels
all it is.
easier
And
to
yeah,
accept.
and that's why we named this masterclass search marketing, right? Search versus social. AI is just a layer of that. So I don't want you to get tripped up, if you've made it this far in here, hopefully the whole AI conversation doesn't trip you up.
Yeah.
So for small businesses, here's some like key factors that we want to think about when it comes to generative engine optimization. So showing up in Google and AI, Pinterest is just, these are all different places our clients are searching. We're getting really qualified leads who are ready to buy. And because we're early on in the stage, right, it's like this great opportunity to get ahead of the curve. Again, I've already kind of shared on the next slide some
Oh,
predictions.
do you want me to go
Um,
to the next slide?
yeah, go
Sorry.
with
I never
a little
know.
bit. I feel like we've talked about this. We got ahead of it.
Yeah.
So I already talked a little bit about predictions, but like
Mm.
I feel like traditional search is here for now, right? I think it is a still very strong way to get clients and traffic and leads and sales. And we're slowly looking at this another way of saying GEO, search generative experience, SGE. And so people are, it's like changing how we're searching, right? Because even before with keywords with SEO, we were focused on like 2-word phrases, 3-word phrases, and that doesn't exist as much anymore because we're all getting trained. When we talk to AI, we talk to it in sentences and paragraphs. And so that is the future. Like that's what we're moving toward. Building online brand credibility and authority is the number one differentiator. I can't stress this enough. Just like Jen said, now that we can create content with AI, there's so much generic content out there. And so you need to make sure, if you want to get success with your search marketing, you need to build your online credibility and authority. And one of the ways you do that, there are things you do on your site and there's things you do off your site. So getting featured on other high authority websites is one of the ways
Oh.
that you can build your authority, but there's multiple ways. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about that later. But this is like one of the big things that a lot of people miss is like, I'm just going to blog until the cows come home with all the different keywords and things like that. Great. You're going to get stuck. You're going to reach a plateau. And I've seen this, and it's frustrating when you spend so
Especially
much
for
time.
those longtime bloggers. This is
Yeah.
throwing them for a loop. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to build up your authority. And part of that authority is also the collaborations and partnerships. So you want to reach new
Like
audiences, you
this.
want to be featured just like this. Yeah. So co-creating content, joint visibility, and community first marketing is the future as well. Because AI, it's so obvious when it's just AI, right? So we're almost extra sensitive to it right now, especially. People don't want to always be interacting with AI unless it's like a really good one. So yeah. So the action plan, kind of taking all this information, is focusing on this authority building, which in SEO we call it EAT: experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. And so you want to infuse that into your content. You want to infuse that into your partnerships. Go out there and pitch yourself to other websites, and Google and AI will reward that. So in terms of structuring your content for AI, you can have really clear headings that answer questions. You can keep some of your answers concise and using, authoritative voice or whatever your brand voice is, like stay on brand. Make sure you're editing your content and spending time looking at that. And don't just spew out pure AI content, because that's not going to work. I already said this. So authority building is really important. Getting mentioned on third-party sites, reviews, Reddit, YouTube, all this can make a big difference. And then this is a little bit more technical, is structured data. So structured data is basically code that lives on the back end of our sites that help search engines and AI understand your business and your content and that helps you get featured more because it's kind of like a recipe that we give Google and AI about what our content and our business is about.
Very, very cool. I could like, ask you a million questions, but we're gonna move on to Pinterest right now. You know, I just love talking about this platform because it checks every single box that we cover, really. And it does it quietly in the background while you're living your life. I this last month, actually the last 2 months, if I'm being honest, I have had a pin that has been in my top 10, started up here, started moving down a little bit, but it's still in the top 10 pins. It was from 2014.
Oh my God.
2000, that's like 12 years ago, I think, if I'm doing the math right. And I spent 10 minutes putting that pin on in 2014, and it's still driving traffic to my website. That's exciting when you think about making a reel on Instagram and then you have to come back tomorrow and make another reel. So, in terms of search versus social, I find search to be more of the quiet marketing, the
Yeah.
easy marketing, the marketing that doesn't feel like you're constantly having to put yourself out there, or at least that's how I feel. I
Yeah.
mean, unless it's YouTube, right? But anyway, let's move on. So this is really important because a lot of people, including Google Analytics, puts Pinterest under search. And then it's very much not search. So Pinterest is not social media. It is actually a visual search engine, which is just like Google and but with pictures, right? It's also like YouTube, right? And Google owns YouTube. So Pinterest is that extra step, step cousin. People go to Pinterest searching for ideas, answers, and things that they're ready to buy, as well as plan, right? For all of those needs. And they are not stumble across content, although people can stumble across your content on Pinterest randomly. They actually go looking for that answer, and Pinterest serves it up to them by showing them one of your pins. That really changes everything. Um, and it's really important. I did just like that pin in 2014, I did the work once and it's still driving traffic to my website. Social media can never do that. I think Instagram for this year's statistics, I think they said 48 hours for a reel or any kind of post really on Instagram. Once that 48 hours are up, then it tends to, unless you are going through a specific search or looking through someone's account, it's very rare that that comes back around again, if that makes sense. And Pinterest now has 619 million
Wow.
monthly active users. And I love that Pinterest tells us active users. I don't think I've ever seen that on Instagram or TikTok as an example. They show how many people are registered, right, with them. And I don't know about you, but I have at least 4 or 5 Instagram accounts. So that's incredible. And so as of Q4 2025 earnings announcement in February 26, 2026, I should say, Pinterest hit 619 million global monthly active users, meaning 619 million people are on Pinterest at least once a month. That's huge. And it's also a 12% year over year increase. So it is just growing like a giant. 275 million engage weekly with content. That means like, click, comment, whatever they do, they're engaging every week. 275 million people. These are highly engaged users, not passive scrollers. And while 619 million is the monthly total, high engagement metrics from 2025 and 2026 show that the weekly active user base is actually growing with 1.5 billion plus pins saved every single week. That always just blows my mind. Nearly 90 million are in the US. Your dream clients are on Pinterest. I have worked with mechanics. I've worked with like all kinds of businesses that are on Pinterest. I have yet to find a business that doesn't do well on Pinterest, even brick and mortar. Your dream clients basically are on there. Other estimates, such as those from Resourcera, place the US user base as high as 105 million in 2026. 85% of weekly users have bought from a pin. 85% of those users that are weekly users have bought from a pin. This high intent shopping statistic is heavily quoted in 2026 marketing reports, highlighting that 85% of weekly users have made purchases based on a pin from a brand. And 85% of weekly users have also made a purchase based on what that pin said. So they're not just browsing, they're searching with actual intent to buy. And these stats and studies prove what Pinterest marketers have been seeing for years. And Pinterest users aren't just browsers, they're actually buyers. And then of course we have to show the stats because I just love me a stat. 90, I mean, when we're spending so much time marketing our business to actually grow our business and bring in clients, it is really important that we understand the stats from each of the locations that we're spending time on, each of these platforms, to really
Yes.
assess on where our time investment is going. I have spent way too much time on Instagram when Pinterest is literally serving up my pin from 2014. Like, it
Right.
kind of boggles my mind a little bit. So it's really the quiet advantage. Users aren't looking for Nike, they're looking for anxiety relief tips or small business systems. You don't need a famous name to get the click, you just need the right solution and of course the right keywords or SEO. 42% of users are Gen Z. This is the age demographic that are all starting to go into that professional, into the full workforce. And the future really is here. Gen Z has officially overtaken millennials as the platform's fastest growing demographic. And they are using Pinterest as social media detox. In fact, at Coachella this year, they had a whole installation and it was cell phone free, which people were concerned that nobody would go there because they couldn't have their cell phone to document what they were doing. It was
Right.
the busiest booth at Coachella. So you can go online if you want to go check it out. They're using it as social detox, basically.
Mm.
70% are women, direct to client. So for female service providers, this isn't just a platform, it's actually a room full of your ideal clients who are here in planning mode, not scrolling mode. 85% of
Yes.
weekly pinners have made a purchase, high intent, right? Unlike social media where you sort of interrupt their scroll, Pinterest users are asking for help. They start projects and purchases on Pinterest first. 3 times more referral traffic than any other platform. Pinterest is even over YouTube, and I put
Wow.
weekly videos up every single week. Pinterest is always my highest referrer for my business all the time. I do get clients from YouTube, so there is a nice trade-off for that, but in terms of traffic, nothing beats Pinterest at all. The return on your time investment is huge. Pinterest is a traffic machine. One pin can send leads to your site for years, as we've talked about,
Yeah.
whereas an Instagram post typically dies after 24 to 48 hours. And in the way that I use Pinterest and teach service providers to use it, 1 hour a week is all you need. Pinterest is the lowest energy platform, in my opinion, with the highest long term return on your time investment as well as money investment. Pinterest's AI search tools are now matching your pins to people actively looking for exactly what you have to offer. So, here on other platforms where they're trying to keep you on the platform, right? Pinterest has a link to every single pin. And it is, it's just, obviously I love Pinterest. If you're basically ready for calmer, smarter marketing that keeps working even when you aren't working, Pinterest is still the best kept secret in 2026, and there is plenty of room for you to jump on board as soon as possible. This is a, sorry, I thought I muted my phone. This is the action step. Cynthia and I feel very strongly that when you watch an education from us, you should walk away with ideas or things to work on in your business.
Yeah.
This is the action step, something that you can actually do today. Number one, switch to a business account. It is free. It takes less than 2 minutes, and you can then unlock analytics so that you can see what's working. The second thing is to write a keyword rich bio, ditch the cute language, write the way your ideal client searches for you. So in your bio, you absolutely, I always see like mama, dog lover, cat owner, all those things, right? That is not what you want to do on here. You want to say in your bio who you serve and what they get. That is as simple as it can be, right in the way that your ideal client is searching. Third, claim your website. That's part of the process to have a business account and what's also needed to be able to see analytics. And if you're marketing your business, you need to know your analytics. That is hugely important. And a lot of people avoid it because it is not fun. I find it thrilling, but not everybody.
Unless you hang out with us.
Well, actually, that's true. Whenever we have groups of people that we're working with, it's their eyes like, it's like, oh, okay, this is why I'm doing this, right? And it
Yeah.
gives you more of a oomph to want to get to that work done.
Yeah.
Then fourth, you want to rename your boards. A lot of people have things like Good Eats or My Faves, and those things are never going to get found. So you want to make sure you have a keyword in there. And five, pin one piece of existing content right now today. Just just pin it on there. Go to Canva, make a pin for one of your lead magnets and put it on Pinterest so that you can start seeing some results. Today, your blog post or lead magnet or service pages, whatever you want to do, don't wait for every, and I think this is a mantra for Cynthia and I also. Don't wait for perfect because done is always better than perfect. And you can always go back in and like update if you needed to. But I feel like we get into that analysis paralysis oftentimes when we're marketing instead of just doing the work. And FYI, the difference between growing and scaling your business is not, it's in taking action. That's literally the difference. You could spend all your time watching these free masterclass educations. Thank you for watching. But if you don't actually take action, you're not really growing your business. So I always like to make sure we put that
I've
out
heard
there.
it's called procrastinate education or something.
Yes, yes. And I myself go there sometimes. So that's why I'm pointing it out.
It can feel productive, right? But
Yeah.
the day you actually have to do the thing.
Mhm. Pinterest, as you know, is not social media, right? It's a search engine. It's probably one of the first things you learned from me today. On social, you're shouting into a crowd, hoping that the algorithm actually helps you. And quite frankly, when I follow someone and I only see statistics say 5 to 6% of the information from the people that you're actually following,
Yeah.
That's could be a problem. On search, people come to you because they're already looking for what you have to offer. Content on social, again, disappears 24 to 48 hours, and content on Pinterest compounds months and years. That's the difference. That changes really everything about how you use it and what you create and how long it takes to see results. This is the core distinction that really sort of unlocks everything.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
I want to add that
Yeah.
we're not saying to not do social media.
No. Yeah.
We both do it and we're active on there, but it doesn't have to be everything. And we want to show you an alternative to spending some of that time creating reels to diversify a little bit more where your traffic and your leads are coming from.
And I advise that my clients are on social media. You can have a static 9 grid. You don't even have to post, but you need a place for people to go confirm that you're a person, to hear
Yeah.
how you talk and what you're passionate about and all those things. Those are the unique selling proposition or USP that gets people to want to work with you over someone else. So yes, I'm so happy you said that. I always forget.
Yep, yep. All right, so we have something we want to share with you. So again, if you're here, you're probably feeling a little tired of not seeing your marketing work in the way you want, or maybe you have been creating a bunch of content, but you have no idea if it's actually doing anything for you. You've been going all in on your reels, spending hours editing, like we've all been there, just spending all this time with reels, and then getting 100 views, 200 views, and you're kind of like, okay, and then it stops working, right? Or maybe you get one follow and then that's it. Um, and maybe you have like looked into SEO or Pinterest or both, and you've DIY'd some of it, but you're not really sure, again, if is it working? Are you doing it right? Is it specifically what you need to be doing for your business? Maybe AI gave you like a list and it's super overwhelming and you're like, do I really need to do all of this? And at the end of the day, this feeling of like, am I the problem? is just horrible. Especially since a lot of us work alone and it's so easy to get in our own heads around our marketing and even like overcomplicate it. So if you're feeling any of these things, just let us know in the chat. Like, give us a little
Yes.
emoji or something, because you aren't alone. Like, this is a really common situation for a lot of small businesses. And it's okay. It's okay to be there.
All right.
Um, oh, go ahead.
No, this is you.
All right. So again, you've been showing up, you've been pouring your heart into your business. Everybody who has a small business, I think, is probably one of the hardest workers ever, because you decided to create this thing from nothing, right? And you didn't have like a boss or anybody kind of telling you what to do. You just went out and you created this. And that is so admirable. But it can feel a little bit disheartening when you're creating all this content and it's not getting you anywhere. You're doing all the right things. You're showing up. You're keeping on top of trends. Trying to stay visible. But it can feel like shouting into a void, especially now with AI content. It can feel a little bit like, what's the point, I guess. And for some reason, your dream clients aren't find you online. And the marketing doesn't seem to be, it's not getting you the traction you need to be making money, right, in your business. And so I just again want to reaffirm that you're not lazy, you're not behind, you're just stuck on a system, on a content hamster wheel it's not giving you a strategy that's working, right? And it's not that the content isn't working, maybe the strategy isn't working behind that content. And so we really want you to feel that the content you're creating, it doesn't mean you have to be burnt out. We just want to give you a system that actually works and that's proven to work, which we've tested.
Yeah. So the Pinterest and SEO aren't actually hard. It just takes time and knowledge. And when you get a custom plan built, I mean, this is just the best thing in the world. When you get a custom plan that's literally built around your business and how you want to work, they become the most powerful low effort marketing tools that you've ever used. You don't need more time, you don't need a big team, you don't need a smarter system, and that's exactly what we built. We built the Quiet Growth Accelerator for service providers who are ready to ditch the algorithm hamster wheel as your primary content and build real sustainable visibility. This isn't a course that you're going to forget about. You actually can't forget about it in the way that we teach this. It's a done with you implementation container with done for you stuff. So the fact that you have some stuff done for you for like you specific, but then also we're there to help along the way, it's kind of a no-brainer. So we start with an audit of your existing marketing. We deliver custom keyword research. And then we have each week, we have education that will help you to actually do the work. So you're never stuck. You're never doing it alone, and you're implementing as you go. Learn, take action. Learn, take action. That's definitely the mantra in this.
Yeah, so this is exactly what's included. Just like Jen said, we start with an audit, and this is a personalized audit. This doesn't get built by anyone but ourselves. We might use some tools to build to basically, like on my side with the SEO side, I
Yeah.
scan your website with an SEO tool to see what's going on. But the cool thing is you get this huge shortcut to focus on the items that are going to be the biggest impact items. So
Yes.
we've had businesses join the accelerator who were literally starting off, and so there our guidance was completely different than a seasoned We've had a few of our
Very seasoned. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
very seasoned. Some of our oh my god, the students,
Are
seasoned
so great.
SEO experts who like knew really well like all the SEO concepts, but they didn't know Pinterest. So it was kind of cool because again, it kind of molds depending on where you at. We meet you where you're at, and we get you
Yes.
traction based on where you're at. And like Jen got excited a few slides ago, is like, this doesn't exist online. Like this is
Does
a
not.
such a
We've
unique
actually
offer.
looked. It is not out there.
And we just wanted to create a program that just created that traction without having to hire someone else to do it, right? So this is something that is custom to you to get you um, results. So again, we've got the audits, we have custom keyword lists, we have educational videos that do have information, but the idea is that that video is actually paired with custom actions. So we tell you
Yes.
what to do with that. So it's not just like, here, learn this and figure it out. It's learn and now do, right? And to hold your hand through this process, we do have a Voxer group, so the voice note access. So
So
um,
good. Oh,
yeah. So if you're feeling like you're working on something and you get stuck, you pull out your phone and you send us a Voxer and we will
anytime. For
respond.
those of you who are like 2 in the morning, you're trying to get the work done, you post. I mean, you post it whenever you need to post it.
Yes.
You don't have to
Yes.
remember to post it later. That's kind of the key, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for a lot of us, when we're trying to get action on something that feels foreign and sometimes frustrating, just having someone to reach out to, because a lot of times it can just be like a voice note that's like, is this normal? Like, I've had
We
clients
have
who's
had
like,
that, I think.
yeah. And so whether it is or isn't, like we're there to help you along the way, and we're
And
cheerleading you
encourage
along
you
the way.
too,
Yes. Yes.
motivate you as well, because learning something new can be frustrating, and
Yeah.
your instinct could be to turn away from it. And we try to keep the eye on the prize as we're
Yes.
moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we have this Voxer group. It's an intimate group, and we keep the energy really high in there, very supportive, safe space. And then last thing is when you sign up, you get access to any updates we do make to the material, any additional
Yes.
bonuses, all the replays. So once you go through the 12 weeks, you can then kind of come back and rewatch things. The Voxer is kind of the live element. But anyway, if you want to join other Voxer groups, we can talk about that later as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so by the end of the 12 weeks, this is what you're going to walk away with: a working SEO and Pinterest visibility system that's bringing you clients, that's bringing you sales. It's not the static thing that's, just sitting there, because you'll be able to track back and see what is working. So one of the modules, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one of the modules is about Google Analytics, and we teach you how to read your results. And I think that's super
So
powerful on its
important.
own. Yes.
So important.
Yes. Yes.
And when you have a question about the analytics, you have somebody like Cynthia who can pop in and say, "Oh, don't worry about that. That is something that they have in there, but it actually doesn't affect your SEO." Like I
Yeah.
loved that piece of it in particular.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you
Yep.
don't
Yep.
just do what you think you're supposed to do.
Or do the thing that's not going to get you any traction, right?
Yeah.
Just like spend hours obsessing about something that is not important.
Yeah.
So again, going through our presentation, I think the coolest part about search marketing is that it really works while you sleep, right? So you build something and it just keeps working for you. My analogy for this is like planting a tree, right? So a tree that gives fruit, or any sort of edible thing. You're not replanting a million trees, right? You're planting a crop that's gonna what you need, and then you take care of it and you prune it and stuff like that. So that is the concept behind search marketing, which is so different than social media, because we're trained to like pump out new content all the time. And unless you're an influencer or someone who's paid for that view, that's super draining. And I'm sure it's draining for influencers too, to be honest. So having an diverse marketing strategy that
Yes.
allows you to take
Smart.
time off, take care of your family. If you have a health thing come up, you don't need to be creating a million reels. You can have some other type of traffic coming into your business that is targeting clients who are already looking for you online today. The other thing we were really passionate about when we built out this program is we wanted to keep it accessible in terms of time, because we're
Yes.
all super busy. So we built something that you can schedule into your week by 2 hours a week. Like that is enough to go through the videos and then get the work done. And of course, if you have more time, you spend more time. If if you're not able to do 2 hours a week, you could catch up and stuff. But the idea is that, minimum 2 hours a week. Like, think about how much time you probably spend on Instagram. I'm sure you can squeeze in some of that time into this. And this is kind of what I was talking about before, is like the confidence.
It's
The
so
confidence
good.
piece, it's connected with knowing what's working right now and what's not,
And
and being clear
how
on
to
that.
read the analytics to know that. That's
Yes.
the thing that people struggle with,
Yeah,
um, yeah, very
exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the roadmap that we're going to follow inside the accelerator. So step one is to simplify. We audit what's there, cut what's not working. Step two, strategize. We build a custom plan around your business goals, your niche keywords. Step three, we systemize and create the weekly workflow. We cover workflow and repurposing, which people always ask about.
Yeah.
And that way it fits in your real life. Step four is to scale, right? We set it up so that it keeps compounding long after the 12 weeks that you're with us. And each layer builds on the last. That's really the quiet growth framework. So
Yes.
when you join this program, you will also receive, um, sorry, I just needed to pause and read it, make sure it was accurate. We will cut this out. Bonus one, Keyword Vault for Pinterest and SEO. It's a pre-researched bank of traffic-ready keywords that you can use beyond your niche. Bonus two is Content Repurposing System, our exact system to turn one blog into 10 plus pins, reels, posts without burnout, because it's a system. When things are a system, they tend to be easier. Bonus three is a weekly wins system. This will be in your workbook. It's prompts to get you to stay on target and to celebrate your wins along the way. Oftentimes, I will have clients who like stopped using Pinterest because they didn't recognize that a client came, but when they spoke with the client that told them they found them on Instagram, they actually found them on Pinterest or through a Google search, right? So it's we want to make sure too that along the way, as a business owner, sometimes all we think about or focus on are the hard parts, and we
Yeah.
want to make sure that you celebrate your wins. So that's another reason that we put that in there. Bonus four is What to Pin First Guide, 10 pins every service provider should create to start getting found on Pinterest. And the quick start bonus, which is a private one-on-one strategy call with Cynthia, and then a separate private one-on-one strategy call with me. That is two calls built for people who jump in first. So that is only around for 48 hours. So the minute that you signed up to watch this video, 48 hours, then it's over. So if you sign up within the next 48 hours, you're going to have these, the ability to schedule these automatically put into the education course. Of course, you can always ask us if you have any questions about any of this, but it is really, our past students love to use them after they have done the 12 weeks, because at the beginning, we are giving them all the things to get started. After the 12 weeks, they want to check in to see where can they spend some more time, where should they spend less time, right? Like it all builds upon the last step that you did.
Yep.
All right, so these are some clients that we have worked with, and for you to understand sort of the results. So Sarah is a wedding and engagement photographer who came to me with limited Pinterest knowledge and zero results. And she learned the strategy, she did the work. Every success story that we're sharing here today, these people put in the work. That is truly the difference between people that scale their business and people that don't, is actually doing the steps and the work. Um, Outbound clicks went up by 315%. That means over 3 times more people clicking from Pinterest straight to her website. Monthly viewers went up by 137%, followers up 92%. Having traffic to her website with her amazing educational blogs for those who are planning a wedding ended up helping her to grow her business. And that growth didn't come from posting more on Instagram or dancing on TikTok. It came from learning how to use search engine the right way. And it's a system that saves a tremendous amount of time. So she had actually more time to spend doing photography or spending it with her husband. And this is exactly what we do inside the program. You learn the system, you implement it in your business, and it keeps working long after you've closed your laptop.
All right, so this is Laureen. She's actually one of our Quiet Growth alumni. And Laureen is a quilter. I love what she does because
Yes.
she sells her quilt patterns on her website. And she also teaches in-person quilting workshops, online workshops. So her business is an interesting case study because she has services and she also has products. So it's kind of a
Yeah.
hybrid.
Yeah.
So Lorena is actually a seasoned SEO expert and also was pretty advanced in her
In
Pinterest as
Pinterest,
well.
yes.
And so this might be a question for some of you of like, am I in the right place? And again, because the program is so personalized, it really doesn't matter where you are at. It can actually, it's just a great starting point, right? So for Lorene specifically, within the 6 months that she, or sorry, after she implemented the 12 weeks, within the 6 months after, her clicks grew by 23% from the search results, and her impressions grew by 45%. And
Wow.
if you don't know what impressions are, you're going to learn the program. But basically, impressions are the amount of times your website gets searched, if you will, inside the search results. And it just basically means like visibility in the search results. And you can also see here the bottom screenshot is actually a from her Google Analytics, and it shows that her traffic from SEO from Google grew by 47%.
That
So
is
not only did she
insane
increase,
in 12 weeks.
yeah, the visibility side, but also the traffic going to her website. And, that led to more opportunities for her business.
Perfect. Chelsea's story is one that I absolutely love to tell. It's one of my favorites because it proves something that I say all the time. Pinterest works while you're not working. So
Yeah.
she came to me before her maternity leave. She knew she needed to plan ahead. So she came to me 6 months before her maternity leave with one goal. She did not want to think about marketing for the 3 months she was taking off with her baby. So she knew she had to do some work on the front end that would help to go through those 3 months. So we built her a system. She did the prep work. She got everything scheduled. And she's like a type A personality. She's like, tell me what to do and I will do it without fail. And the results show that, honestly. She planned for 3 months. She prepped so well that she ended up taking 6 months of zero work. Six
Wow.
months completely off, and Pinterest kept pinning the whole time. So she
Right.
had consistent traffic to her website the entire time that she was literally nurturing this little baby. And she
Mhm.
booked a client from Pinterest while she was on maternity leave who was ready and waiting when she came back to work. She
Wow.
was like, "Hey, I'm on maternity leave," but and this really is truly what a search marketing system does. It doesn't need you to show up every single day. It doesn't need you to post or a reel or write a caption or check your algorithm. You build it once, you feed it consistently, and it
Yeah,
just runs for you. And that's literally what we want for you, period.
totally. Yeah. Addie is another alumni. She's a personal branding coach. And again, Addie had done some SEO already. But what we did is we went back in and we actually, curated her keywords a little bit more. And we made sure that they were aligned with what she was selling now. Because I think that when she had done her SEO initially, it was a little bit more broad,
Yeah.
and now she wanted to change some of the previous keywords, which is very common, right? A lot of us start our business selling something and then we pivot and, change. And that can be confusing because it can be overwhelming of like, am I going to stop ranking? Like, what does that look like? So for Addie, she really wanted to be found as a personal brand coaching um, keyword, and she did. So these are her keywords from the Search Console, which again, when you join the program, you'll learn about the Search Console and how it works. So not only is she getting found for the local keywords, which were like branding photography in Las Vegas, which she was doing some photography, but trying to move away from that, and Las Vegas brand photographer. But now she was being found by branding coach for female entrepreneurs and personal branding coach for female entrepreneurs. And on the next slide, Jen has Addie's continued story, which it didn't end there.
I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, no,
For our
I
third
want you
page,
to
okay.
keep going.
Yeah, so Adi, we love her. She joined our group and did the work, literally did the work. She
Yeah, she did well.
completed her full homepage SEO, updated her Pinterest profile, started showing up in search, and a few weeks later, she messaged us and said, "I just booked a paid speaking event from someone who found me on Google."
Yeah.
Like, huge. And that's literally what search marketing really does. And
Mhm.
someone who was already out there, already doing a good job on SEO, but
Yeah.
there were little tweaks that you knew were gonna make it helpful for her SEO wise. And I did the same thing for her. Um, it's amazing. Her website traffic went from 751 clicks to 2,380 clicks in those 12 weeks.
Yeah.
At over 3 times of growth. And Pinterest, she started from 0. I have been talking to her about doing Pinterest for years. And now she has 1,300 monthly views already. That's what's happening. That is literally what happens when you stop relying on just social media and really start building something that compounds. And we have
Yeah, and it was
mine.
and just to close off, Addie, I think the highlight of this offer is it's a personalized strategy, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these businesses, they're already showing up to some extent, but the tipping point was a personalized approach, like that next level of getting the client, and
And
that's
having an expert to ask along the way the entire
yeah,
3 months. So, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Mike is another one. I mean, all our alumni
I
are
know,
our
just love
favorites, so they're all just the best. So Mike is a marriage counselor, very, very seasoned SEO expert. I will
seasoned.
call him an
And
SEO
seasoned
expert.
Pinterest too. He just didn't have certain things going on that took him to the next level.
Right. Yeah. So Mike is actually, ranking number one for several keywords. However, he wanted to start promoting a special program that would allow him to do group counseling, right? So he came to us not just wanting to do, SEO and Pinterest, but how to promote something specific.
Mhm.
And so you can see here Mike's results, like that nice curve there in the clicks, is he was able to get a specific keyword strategy for both Pinterest and SEO that helped him promote his group program. So he doesn't need so many one to one clients because he was feeling burnt out with the one to one part
Yeah.
of counseling. And, he loves what he does, but a group program would allow him to help and, be more profitable in a group setting
Yes.
and maybe have less of that one-to-one work. So
And there
Mike
are
was
people that wanna do group versus one-on-one as well. So it works out perfectly for his clients as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
They all worked really hard. It was very exciting. So, I think this is
Yeah,
yours.
these are some other clients and students we've worked
Oh,
with
yeah. Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
different fields. So
Yeah.
we have actually an influencer, Jamie Lynn, who learned some SEO with me. We have a business coach. And the reason we have this slide too is just to show you the variety of different
Variety.
types of businesses,
Yeah,
coaches.
Stephanie, she's changed her business now a little bit, but she is a person that teaches people how to create courses that actually get watched and action taken. Right. One of the
Mm,
biggest complaints that people have when they have courses is that people buy it and then don't ever like touch it. So she's a
right.
specific designer for that. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Um, so if basically, if what we've covered today has you thinking, wow, like no wonder I have been stuck. And then you're gonna really love what I'm gonna about to share because Cynthia and I have taken every single thing along the way that you've learned, built a step-by-step system around it. We systematized it to make it sort of easier to follow. And we built the Quiet Growth Accelerator for, and we say service providers because that's our niche. But as you can see from the plethora of people that we had, you don't necessarily have to be a service provider. But those people who are really ready to ditch the algorithm hamster wheel and build real sustainable visibility. And I have noticed that people who are getting married or having a baby or wanting to change their business, pivot a little bit in their business, those are urgent notifications that you do need something like this so that you don't go through the lull that comes after when you make changes, or work less because you're planning a wedding or pregnant or having a baby. This is really helpful for those reasons, just like my client who planned for her maternity leave.
Yeah.
This really is not a course that you're going to forget about because every single week we're getting this information out to you and having conversations in Voxer about it. It's a done with you implementation container. We start with an audit, as you all know. I'm not going to go through everything that we already talked about, but all of these things are what makes up the program. And our expertise of working with people day in, day out on Pinterest and SEO are, it helps you to answer any questions or any areas that get you to be stuck. And then sometimes when you get stuck, you're like moving on to the next thing because you just are gonna have to go through it. And we're gonna give you the shortcut. That's basically what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So here are a few things if you're kind of curious about it. So what if you're, you're wondering, do I have time for this? And this is something we talked a lot about at length because we wanted to make it
Oh yeah.
accessible. So all we're proposing is 2 hours a week to get the work done, to ask us question, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. And I know it's hard to understand that, or it feel a little bit like not real because we're so trained with social media every day stories, but it is literally this. It's like planting a seed, watering it, and then letting it sit. Um, the other thing that comes up a lot is like, I'm not technical. I don't know about code. Is
Yes.
SEO and Pinterest going to be too complicated? And absolutely not. So we've made this really digestible. So whether you are a little more, technical and you know a little bit more of the back end, or if you don't, we're going to meet you where you're at. But we want this to be easy for you to action. And that's why that personalized audit is really the core of this. Is you don't need to understand all the moving parts. You just need to know what to do next, and you do that, and that's it. And you just keep going about your day. The other thing, I guess Jen just mentioned this, is this going to work for my type of business? So, service providers, coaches, creatives, we've worked with all sorts of businesses, even e-commerce businesses.
Yep.
So because
Absolutely.
it's so personalized, we will customize the strategy based on, again, where you're at and your type
Yeah.
of business, and we're going to give you something that's profitable, like a profitability plan basically. We didn't mention this, but we also, part of the onboarding is we ask you a bunch of questions about your business before we
Yes.
audit, and that also helps us understand how you make money in your business, how you want to make money. Like Mike, he wanted to bring in a different revenue stream through a group program. So we ask you all that before we even touch your site because we want to make sure that you're going to be set up for success. So I would say the only type of business that's probably not a good fit is like if you don't have something to sell online, if you're not
Yes.
sure, what your business plan. If you're, switching audiences, that's fine because you just
Totally.
need to have a clear like path to
It's a
money,
great
basically.
way it's a great way to change audiences or
Mhm.
pivot because you're
Yes.
doing it with experts that are gonna tell you what to worry about and what not to worry about. Half the time, business owners spend a lot of time on something they think they need to be doing, but maybe it's not as important as they think. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah, yeah. And
Great.
then the last thing is, we've hear people say, "Oh, I've tried SEO, I've tried Christmas before, it didn't work." Yeah, we get it. So the idea is that we're gonna look at what you've tried as well, and we'll probably help you understand why it didn't work. But we'll focus more on what we feel is gonna start helping you move the needle, right? And again, the audit, understanding your business, these are things that you probably haven't done before. We have, between the both of us, like over probably 30 years of marketing experience. And to
Exactly.
be honest, we end up talking to our students and clients about things beyond their SEO. We talk to them about their newsletter, about,
SEO. In the
yeah,
repurposing, we talk about I mean, excuse me, like Instagram or TikTok.
yeah,
We talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that as well, especially in the repurposing part.
Yeah, so obviously the program is focused on search marketing, but it's all connected, right? So we allow that to be a fluid conversation, because we want you to get to be able to grow your business through your marketing.
Exactly. So, just to let you know, first of all, I can't wait to see you in the program. I'm just going to say that right away because I know that people get very excited about this. And we haven't mentioned this yet, but we do keep it intentionally smaller so that we have time to spend with people. So, just for you to know, like a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to hop in, there's going to be 150 people in there. That is not going to be the case. Um,
Yes.
and, uh, you know, you can use this code or you can use the bit.ly link as well. And yeah, if you have questions, you can leave a comment in this YouTube video or you can reach out and email either Cynthia or I to talk about it because we want to make sure that you have any questions or concerns answered, to get you into the program.
Yeah. So the bit.ly lit, just if any of you are listening, bit.ly/quiet growth 2026, that will take you to the full sales page with all the details. And there you'll be able to sign up right away. And as basically what happens is when you sign up, you get a confirmation, and then you'll get immediate access to the welcome module. There, it's just to get things going. And then the first module drops in about a week. And again, if you sign up 48 hours after you access this masterclass, you will get booking links for Jen and myself. And you can either choose to book that right away
Whenever
or
you want.
in a few months. But that is only if you take action right now. So that's the next step for you.
All right. Well, have a great day and go take action on the SEO action items and the Pinterest action items that we talked about at the beginning of this presentation so that you can at least get something going for yourself right now, today.
Thank
All
you.
right.